Despite what you might think, database engine is really the brains of the operation. Really at the center of everything that goes on is done and performed by the database engine. Process is really one thing that is a key element of the database engine. Think about it. Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, MongoDB, structured and unstructured databases, developers that are communicating with databases, web servers, operating systems, storage devices, remote and local connectivity. All of those elements need to be processed and integrated. The database engine is what knows and understands how to process every request coming in the best manner possible. A developer is not looking for the same elements as a web server is from a database, which is to say those two developers and web servers are very different than someone seeking just to resolve an SQL statement. You see what I'm saying? Which is very different than a mobile user communicating with the database engine. So something to think about. Database engine is the essentially what is completing all of the tasks. It is the secret sauce, if you will, behind how tasks are completed. The way Oracle performs the tasks or the set tasks that are requested by developers, by web servers, by other environments is done very differently than other database engines out there. Once a resource requests something to be processed, let's say they're requesting to process an SQL statement, right? That process is placed into a plan by the database engine. Yes, it's a database engine's responsibility to determine how to execute this SQL statement. And who says it has to be an SQL statement? Maybe this is a process that is requested by a developer. And a developer is requesting to process or to create a stored procedure, or to create a table, or to create a column. And who says it has to create the table or the column? Maybe there's modifications going on, right? Think about that, right? That's something that has to be thought of quite heavily by the database engine, because modifications can take place. Can they take place while production is happening? What if the database is in use? What if the user does not have permission to access the table or to modify the column or the row? What if the table or the row, or the column, if you will, cannot be modified because of the way with which the modification is being requested? Maybe they want to turn a character field to a date field, or a date field to a numeric or currency field. All of that is part of the plan. The database engine is responsible for determining all those things very, very quickly. Once the database engine determines how to best arrive at the answer, it has to then carry out the execution of the request based on the plan. So can that column be modified? Can it be converted? Can that table be created? Can that SQL statement be processed the way it is said to be processed? Is it correct? Are all the columns there? Can that developer do what is being asked of the process to do and of the plan to be created and so on? All of those things are responsibilities of the database engine. And then the result, let's say it figures out that it can execute the plan, and it plan is correct and accurate. That was requested by, let's say, a developer, and the result needs to be processed, and the result has to be provided to the requested resource. Now, by requested resource, what I mean by that is a developer may have requested it, a web server may have requested it. Isn't that true? Maybe an application requested it, right? So the result has to be presented to the right resource or the proper resource, and sometimes the request that is being said and initially created, maybe they want the result in HTML. Maybe they want the result in XML. Maybe they want the result in text. You see what I'm saying? All of that is being done and processed by the database engine, the all-powerful, as they say. Once a result has been provided, you have to actually think about this. The database also has to integrate with everything that's going on, whether that is within the database itself, or with an application, or a web server, or a developer, or with communicating devices. And then the database has to allow for scaling to take place, whether that's in a cluster or replication. Horizontal scaling means to allow adding of more resources to the database, and vertical scaling means that you're adding more resources or more databases or more nodes. So scaling has to be allowed and has to be implemented in the execution and the plan so that everything gets processed faster and the results are achieved faster. So database engine is the magic sauce behind how everything gets done.